This is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reported tonight, Amarachi Ubani.
Good evening and welcome. Tonight, federal government raises hope on the safety of Chibok girls and says presidency has not given up search. More deadly attacks on Borno villages. Militant group Boko Haram kills 33 and over 100 others kidnapped. The president launches housing scheme for Nigerian workers. And Boston Marathon bombing suspect appears in the United States court ahead of commencement of trial next January.
On business news, international ratings agency Fitch predicts a bumpy ride for Nigerian banks in 2015 following oil price shocks and domestic monetary pronouncements.
And in sports news, Nigeria's downward slide on the FIFA rankings continue as the Super Eagles fall further.
There's no stopping the search for the missing Chibok girls, and that's coming from the federal government. A coordinator of the National Information Center in Abuja, Mr. Mike Omeri, says the government is not folding its arms, but is deploying all means to get them back. He warned that security operatives are aware of plans by terrorists to take advantage of the Christmas and New Year celebrations to attack the innocent Nigerians.
The government has not given up and will not give up in the search and rescue effort, as can be evidenced in the ongoing arrest and investigation of all leads and trails. As the year 2014 gradually comes to an end, Nigerians have been advised to be very security conscious, especially during the end of the year festivities. Already, security agencies have been intimated of plans by insurgents to carry out major attacks against soft targets during this period. These targets include motor parks, churches, schools, mosques, recreational centers such as amusement parks and viewing centers, among others. The aim is to exploit the festive period with the attendant mass gatherings for religious programs, school end-of-year parties and activities, including family picnics, to cause large-scale destruction of lives and property.
Coordinator of the National Information Center, Mr. Mike Omeri. In the meantime, some level of normalcy is set to have returned to Gumsuri, a remote village in Damboa local government area of Borno State, after gunmen reportedly killed 33 people, kidnapped about 100 others from the village in the northeast part of the country. The leader of the civilian JTF in the area is said to be among those killed. It was reported that the attack occurred since last Friday, but the news only got out after some of the survivors found their way to Maiduguri, the state capital. Those kidnapped by the gunmen are said to be mostly women and children. Alarmed militants were also said to have attacked the border town of Amchide, also in Borno State, yesterday, and raided the market area, setting fire to shops, and more than 50 houses were burnt. Meanwhile, the AFP quotes Cameroon's army as saying that it has killed 116 Nigerian militants who had attacked one of its bases. Well, indeed, there have been conflicting accounts about the exact situation in northeast Nigeria, as news of the latest attack comes barely a day after the Chief of Defense Staff, Air Marshal Alex Bade, claimed that the military is winning the war against terror and liberating more of the territories under the control of the militants. But the governor of Borno State, Kashim Shettima, has insisted that the state of affairs in Maiduguri and its environs remain dire. In an interview with Channels Television on Friday, Governor Shettima said the militant group Boko Haram has virtually taken over most of the towns and cities in the state. According to him, it is still a difficult task assessing about 20 local government areas in the state.
20 local governments are beyond our reach. Maiduguri has been effectively encircled by the Boko Haram. All the roads leading into Maiduguri are beyond our reach. If you live Maiduguri 10 kilometers outside Maiduguri, you are probably in a Boko Haram territory. The road going to Biu through Damboa is off limits. The one that goes to Yola through Goza and Bama is off the road. The one that goes to Chad through Jikwa and Gala, the only road that is accessible now is the Maiduguri Damaturu Kano road. And when we had that crisis in Damaturu, Maiduguri was cut off for about 3 days. That's the sorry state of affairs we are in, and we have met all the relevant stakeholders. We met the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. With the assurances we have gotten, we believe that plans are in the pipeline to really review the entire security architecture of the Northeast and address the problem once and for all. We appeal to them to come to our aid because we are facing real existential threat to our people, to our civilization, to our culture. And it's very sad because Maiduguri has become a huge refugee camp with over 3 million people. I can't even imagine if Maiduguri falls, the human catastrophe that will follow is beyond human comprehension. Will make the tragedy in Kosovo a child's story.
Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima. In other developments from the nation's security situation, the Vice President Namadi Sambo wants more collaborative efforts at solving the problem of internally displaced persons in northeast Nigeria. Addressing a gathering at the Maiden National Migration Dialogue in Abuja, Vice President Sambo observed that the increasing wave of terrorism has doubled the number of migrants and displaced persons in the country. He explained that the government is devising strategies to integrate migration to national development. Our correspondent, Gloria Omezoke, reports.
Millions of refugees, migrants and internally displaced persons continuously live in urgent need of protection and support. The steady influx every year of refugees or migrants in the country has raised more concerns in the last year. Even the government is not able to come up with figures. What is worse is the growing violence which leaves thousands of families hopeless.
This government is aware and sensitive to the fact that the current cause of internal displacement in Nigeria is the insurgency in the Northeast. I have directed relevant institutions of government to ensure that internally displaced persons are given due care and maintenance without any form of social exclusion as we work towards a durable solution.
The federal government may be trying its best, but the steady loss of lives of desperate migrants, which has seen an increase in 2014 to 4,868 persons, calls for more efforts in member countries.
It's quite challenging because it's a security situation, it's a situation where people are fleeing for their lives. So obviously in those kind of situations, even as you go to give assistance, you also need to be sure that the people who are going in to give assistance also don't fall victims again.
Various agencies have struggled to put a figure to the number of displaced persons or migrants, but other institutions maintain that the focus should be on the youths, which are critical in the development of migration policies.
We should also try to see how we discourage our young people from going, apart from not just telling them you are going to die out there in the sea, but to also create opportunities for them, you know, to discourage them from having to go out there to look for greener pastures.
Henceforth, continued discussions on how to tackle issues and challenges of migrations are ongoing, but the federal government has been urged, more importantly, to employ desperate measures to help less people suffer from the after effects of this. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television.
In part two, after the break, federal government, oil workers, a meeting holds in Abuja. That's coming up in a moment. Please join us again.